Hi, I'm Don Mitchell. Wanted to give you a little review of a new pickup system that I had installed in one of my guitars. Now this is my 1994 Takamine CP-132SC. It's a solid, made in Japan, solid cedar top, cutaway classical guitar with an electric system. And I learned this. I've had this guitar for many years. Love this guitar. It's a great guitar. I learned most of my fingerstyle jazz technique on this guitar. However, I was never able to use it on a gig because the pickup that came with it was so horrible. It sounded thin, quacky, really unbalanced from string to string, especially the bass string. It was very weak. I tried many different things to correct this problem. Nothing worked. I finally installed myself an LR Baggs Element, and that sounded good at low volumes, but it was so horribly prone to feedback that I absolutely just made it unusable on the gig. And I tried many different things to solve that problem. Nothing really worked. And so I finally became aware of a brand new acoustic pickup system that was invented by a master luthier, Paul McGill, who's famous for making the guitars that one of my heroes use. Earl Klugh has used Earl Klugh guitars going back to his very first solo album. The story is that he previewed something like 20 different guitars and settled on one by Paul McGill, and has been using McGill guitars ever since. So I sent this beauty off to Nashville to Paul McGill to install his new pickup system. It's called GoAcoustic. And I'll show you what this uses is individual those are individual piezo pieces, similar to what RMC system uses. However, Paul gets his from Graphtec, and Graphtec is the same company that that I made the pickup that I have on my electric guitar, my electric Mitchell. And in that guitar, in that pickup, it's used, these are called hexaphonic. You can do a MIDI output, and that's what I do. I run that, my electric guitar, to a Boss GB10 processor, and really all my electric sounds are synth. Not weird stuff, it's just guitar emulation. So I can sound like a Telly, I can sound like a Les Paul in a Marshall amp, I can sound like a classic Strat through an overdriven Fender. Really anything. I can do alternate tunings. If I'm doing a song by the Rolling Stones, for instance, Honky Tonk Woman, that was recorded in what's called Nashville tuning, or it's an open G tuning. And so with that GB10, one press of the pedal gives me that alternate tuning with the Telly sound, and then when I go back to normal tuning, it's just another patch. However, the hexaphonic pickups also just work for acoustic. The main difference between this GoAcoustic and the RMC is this fabulous preamp that was designed by Paul's partner in this endeavor, and who's an electronics engineer. And somehow he's figured out to just, with this preamp, to give this thing a completely natural sound, and also to fight any feedback issues that you might have. So the preamp is actually built into the end pin. However, he did also install that's a volume and a 3-band EQ, and then there is a small battery pack, so it does need a battery to power the preamp. What I can tell you now, after playing it for several weeks and testing it both through my small Roland AC-60 and my normal gigging amp, which is a Fishman SA220, that this performs exactly as Paul describes it, and it is what I've dreamed of for years. This is going to make this guitar perfectly usable in a gig and high volume situations with no feedback issues whatsoever, and it sounds fantastic. Perfectly balanced from string to string. This is one of the things that plagued me for so many years, not just with this guitar, but with other nylon electrics, is a weak bass. And Paul explained this to me, that most of the other makers, what they do is in their preamp, they actually cut the bass frequencies because they know those are the ones that are most troublesome for feedback issues. So they do this by design, and it just makes it sound awful. I just can't say enough good things about what Paul has done with this pickup system. And I wanted to make this video to let everybody know, if you're an acoustic musician like I am, at least part of the time, this is a fantastic, it's literally the best solution that I've ever encountered. And this is like the holy grail for acoustic musicians, you know, to have something that you can easily plug into your guitar, plug it into the amp, and be able to go. Just be able to perform at high volume with no feedback issues and sound like your acoustic guitar, not some you know, quacky thing like a neurotic duck, which so many of the piezo systems do. They have that, what we call the piezo quack. So I'm just as happy as I can be, and I want to laud this fantastic system that Paul McGill and his partner Ben have invented. Okay, so lastly, what I'd like to do is play a little something for you so you can hear how it sounds. Now, I'm not going directly to the board. What I'm doing is trying to emulate more of a gig situation, even though I'm in this small room. What I've done is I'm playing through my Roland AC-60, and so you're hearing basically an amplified sound. The reason I didn't want to go to the board is because an amplified sound is different than the board. And what I've always been concerned about is, what is it going to sound like through an amp when I'm playing on the gig? So hopefully this will give you a little bit of that feeling.